By the end of this video, you'll know how to use the YouTube Data API to fetch data from a YouTube channel and display it within Google Sheets. So the problem that I wanted to solve was that our YouTube channel has a lot of short form content, and we've started to get into longer form content, and I wanted to see maybe which pieces that were long form have been underperforming. So filtering by the duration, and then maybe looking at filtering the views by those less than 1,000 views. And this will help us understand maybe some of the content we should think about recreating, or clearly the different chapters aren't working for this history-based channel. Let's get into how to do this. So getting started here in a spreadsheet, I've added the title, duration, and views columns that I want to get from the YouTube API. And so the first step is to open up extensions AppScript, and you really need to add the YouTube API as a service within AppScript. So looking through here, there's a bunch of APIs that Google exposes, and we're going to use the YouTube Data API v3. I'm going to add that, and it'll pop up down here. And I'm going to rename the project YouTube API. That'll be helpful for authorization. And really what I did was look at the documentation from YouTube, and they're obviously robust because it's Google, but they have AppScript code samples. And to achieve the problem that I set out to, they have this retrieve my uploads boilerplate function to just get you started. So I took that, dug into a few of the actual returned API JSON that we're going to get, and we're going to use channels and videos mostly, as well as playlist items. So you'll look in here at some of the required parameters, such as feeding in the content details, which are really what is outlined in the response. So you would kind of tell it you want page info, or you want the items. I think this is a better breakdown is the channels overview. So this is really kind of the master result that you could, so you get everything from here or a few things. And we're just going to get a few things to solve this problem. So back over to AppScript, I'm going to create a function called get my videos. And I'm going to create a results variable that is going to use the YouTube service that we just added. And I'm going to use the channels, I guess that's property, and list. And as I just mentioned, we're just going to pull out from this the content details. And I'm also going to specify an optional object, mine, and set that to true, because I'm going to look at my YouTube channel. There's other settings that you could put, but we don't need them. So let I in results.items. So for each of those items, we're going to establish an item, the ith item. So it'll iterate through those and add them individually. And we're going to set playlist ID. So we're trying to get the IDs from the item, content details, which is really what we're exposing here, and related playlists uploads. So you can, as I've said before, when you add periods in AppScript, there's like an autocomplete of what's available to you, which is super helpful. Highly recommend using that to your advantage. We're also going to set, we're going to let next page token equal an empty string, and that will make more sense in a second. While next page token does not equal null, I think we only need one equal sign there. Let playlist response equal, we're going to use the playlist item property. So instead of the channels, again, dot list. And this time we're going to use the snippet, and we're going to pass in the playlist ID, which we just got up here. So you'll notice that when we don't have it in use, it grays out. When it's in use, it fills in, which is helpful to see where maybe some things you wrote aren't being utilized or used. We're going to bring in 25 results per page, and we're going to use the next page token to indicate when to go to the next page. We're then going to do a for loop. Let j, because we already used I, equals 0. So 0 base index, playlist response dot items dot length. So for each value in that list, and we're going to iterate over them using j++. Const playlist item, we're going to take the response items.j. So for each of those, we'll set a new variable called playlist item. And then for the video snippet, I'm going to use now the videos property and list. And this time we're going to use statistics, and that's where like the view count comes from. But it's also worth noting that you could pass in multiple list elements here. So to kind of get the JSON formatted the way you want, that's how that would work. And I'm going to pass in another object, and I should move this down so you can see it, get it centered. You need to pass in to get the video data, like the ID of those videos. And to do that, we're going to use the playlist item that we just created, dot snippet dot resource ID dot video ID. Now we're going to let title equal playlist item dot snippet dot title. We're also going to let duration equal video snippet dot items. There's an items array. We're going to get the first item in that array. We're going to get the content details property, and we're going to get the duration. More on that in a second. Let views equal video snippet dot items dot the 0th item, statistics view count. Now we're going to log those out and make sure everything's working. I'm going to do this with string replacement just to get all three of them. Title, duration, views. Next page token, playlist response, next page token, so that we update that on each run. What you'll notice here is that the duration is formatted in the ISO 8601 or something format. And what I did was I went to the handy AI overlords, and I said, So I just fast forwarded through that, but I wrote a prompt saying I would like to pass in the ISO 860 and receive a readable prompt or a readable result. And I copied that. So I pasted this in, and I will pass the result. I'll wrap the duration with that parse ISO function, helper function, to make that a little bit more readable. So I'm gonna log that out again. And as you can see, they are now returning a more readable duration. Awesome. And now I want to return the results into the sheet. And how I'm going to do that is create another function called display my videos. And that will take in the title, the duration, and the views. Let sheet equals spreadsheet app.get active sheet. And that's just a helpful setting. I'm going to let the last call, so the last column equal sheet get last column. Similarly with the rows, because this will help me add new rows each time. I'm also going to create or assign the title call to sheet.getRange, and I'm going to show you that what it takes in. Row, column are mandatory, but also the number of rows is 1 and the number of columns is last call. No bar references. And get values. There's an array of the values. I'm going to get get inside the array and look for the index of title. Similarly, I'm going to do that 2 more times. And now I'm going to add those into the cell and each row. So last row plus 1. Title call plus 1 because it's on a 0 index for this index of, but the title indexes are a 1, starting with 1. And then I'm going to set value, and I'm going to interpolate the title from what was passed in through the function. With that helpful function, instead of logging these values, I can display my videos, title, duration, views. And I'm going to remove the logger log. I'll just comment it out. Command / to do that. Command S to save. I'm going to click Command R. Maybe, okay, so now I'm going to run this and see how it works. I'm going to allow. And there you have it. So now I can come in here and, early days for the channel. So, get your views in now while you can. Appreciate any likes, comments, subscribe for sure. But you could filter these to maybe figure out the longest videos you have or those with the most views, and use that data to your advantage. I hope this was helpful. And yeah, I will provide links to everything I talk through in the description below. I'll put the code on my GitHub, which is hopefully a helpful resource for you to get just the code that I've already written. And if you want to just copy and paste it, it should work once you add the service, of course. And that's it. Thanks for your interest in automating away your tasks.